Good evening, everyone. We're actually starting on time, 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Community Facilities Building Committee special meeting of July 23rd, 2025. Call the meeting to order at, now it's 7:01. And I would like to ask, before we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance or while we rise, to please, if we could have a moment of silence. Many of you probably know there's a Trimble family that suffered an unimaginable loss, and if we could please keep them in our thoughts for a moment, I appreciate it. Thank you. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America.
Thank you. This will be a quick roll call. We have a couple people missing, but for Joanne's sake, Lori Hayes O'Brien is here. Don Cantafio?
Here.
Mike Buswell?
Here.
Ron Feligno? Rich Kroll?
Here.
Kelly Malazzi is not here this evening. Matt Sather?
Here.
Dave Galla?
Here.
Tony Silber? Not here this evening. Dean Fabrizio?
Here.
And Christine L. Eris. I'm not sure if she's coming or not, Joanne, so we'll keep an eye on the time. Thank you all. This seems like an easy meeting. What a change, right? But I will open up for public comment if anyone would like to speak. All right.
Why not? Robert Abercrombie, 10 Pleasant Street, Trumbull. I just want to say thank you very much for shepherding through after 10 years of at least getting into a referendum. So thank you very much, guys.
There's our record shortest public comment of all of our meetings, and I'll take it gladly. So, and appreciate the comment on top of that. So I am going to call it closed at 7:03. What we're going to do tonight, I asked Mr. Schobeck, our town attorney, to kind of walk us through. Oh, you know what? Let me go back. I'm sorry. Approval of the 6/25/25 meeting minutes. Sorry, I missed that. Can I have a motion to approve the June 25th meeting minutes?
So moved.
Dave, and a second?
Second.
All right, Ron. And any changes? Rich, you want to call it?
Yes, one change. Towards the end of the meeting minutes, you have the total amount for the invoice that needs to be corrected to be $102,033.09.
Yes. So can you Here, Joanne, I'll show it to you, actually. I wrote it on mine. It now reads like we pay them $1 million already. Okay. All right. So that is that the only change anybody saw? Any other questions? Okay. All right. All those in favor of the minutes as amended? Unanimous. All right. Thank you all. We are just flying. So as I was saying, and I will start out to echo Mr. Abercrombie's comments about thanking everyone for kind of getting through this process, particularly over the last few months when it's been really busy. And I know you guys spend a lot of time coming to extra meetings and a lot of discussion. And I'm just grateful for where we are, that we have this opportunity to go forward with the referendum after a long wait. And I'm actually really excited. I know some people are disappointed in the not following through with the original plan, but we know how creative QA&M can be, and that I think what we'll end up seeing with this option 7 when it passes the referendum will be a really wonderful project that we'll all be happy with. So my gratitude as well. Dan is going to come speak tonight to talk to us a little bit about how this referendum works, since this is our first shot at it, and if anybody has any questions, and we'll follow up with that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. For those of you who voted in the referendum that took place last year for Hillcrest Middle School, you have some idea of what the process is. There's going to be a question on the ballot, which was approved by the town council, which is to spend, what was the number? $2.7 million?
27,
27,
15,000. But he's moving decimals around here.
$27,215,000 for the construction of the senior/community center. That question is a yes/no. That's going to be on the ballot. It's going to be on the ballot for November 4th. Prior to that, the town clerk is charged with preparing a statement as to what the referendum is, what you're voting on, and that's going to go out to be made available to all voters. The statement as to what you're voting on is something that's going to be sent out with absentee ballots. It's going to be posted at the voting places on November 4th. And any questions that people have about it prior to that, you'll have an opportunity. There'll be an opportunity for people to speak. There'll be an opportunity for community meetings. There'll be an opportunity for various groups to either support or oppose, to advocate either for or against. What we can't do, or what you can't do, is as a committee, there's a prohibition under the law, there's a prohibition against spending municipal funds to advocate for or against the referendum. And so we need to be careful about that. Each of you as a citizen has First Amendment rights. You have the right on your own to go out there and speak to people about what you think they ought to do when they vote. Some of you, as I look around, there are some of you who are running for office this year. You certainly, as part of a political campaign, whether you're running under the auspices of your town committee or whether you're running under the auspices of a separate election campaign, you have the right to advocate. You have a right to put in your campaign literature whether you're for or against and why. All right, so it's advocacy, but it's not being done with town funds. All right, we can't. So where we get into gray areas is trying to figure out exactly what's town funds, and I'd like to kind of interpret that broadly to say that if we're doing it at a meeting of a committee, or we're doing it at a gathering of the committee as a committee, that although you may not actually be spending town funds for your gathering, not a good idea as a committee, to be advocating for or against the referendum question. Now, you can go out and form an advocacy group. You can talk, again, you can talk to your friends, you can write letters on your own, you can tell people why you think this is a good idea, why you think it's a bad idea, why you think it would have been better if it was something else, but you're satisfied with this or you're enthusiastic about this. That's all what you can do on your own. And beyond that, certainly what we put on the town website, we can certainly put on the town website that there's going to be, that the town council has approved the question to go to referendum. But we can't put on the town website, and we think you should vote in favor. All right, that doesn't work. So, any questions? It's actually becomes fairly simple if we just understand that you as an individual can advocate all you want, and you as a committee, though, should stay clear of that. There will be, as I think there was with the Hillcrest meeting, the Hillcrest referendum, there will be some opportunity for public meeting. All right, the architect will be there. He'll have pictures. He'll tell people what it is and explain what it is he's voting on. They're voting on either as a whole committee, or Lori as the spokesperson for the committee will be there also to talk about what the process has been and what, you know, what's going forward. And that's going to be a community meeting. If somebody knows of a community group that's meeting and you'd like to arrange to have people there, that's fine. But you're not going to get the whole committee there to advocate for or against. Questions?
So this community meeting that we know we're going to do, which is going to be mainly run by Tom, to give, and it's informational. So that's kind of the difference, right?
Right.
Informational meetings as opposed to advocacy.
Well, it's informational meeting, and it is just saying that this is what is proposed, all right? It's not, this is what is proposed, and we are strongly suggesting that you vote yes, or we are begging you to vote yes, or anything along those lines. I think people are going to know how you feel about it if when you explain it, when you show it, when you show he's got his slides or he's got his boards and you know tells you what the program is. And you probably at that point don't really want to get into discussions of what it could have been, what it might have been, what it should have been. That's all past. We have something that we're working with today, and this is what we're asking the people to vote on. Looks like David has a question.
So we have rules around what constitutes a meeting and the number of people that could potentially show up. So if we're talking about some of these advocacy meetings that you're talking about here, or a meeting of, I don't know, like a political type thing, would those rules apply here as well? So you couldn't have more than, what is it, 3 or 4?
No, you can have people. You can have people there. If it's a public meeting, all right. For instance, you go to a concert, all right, and maybe that's a decent. Or you go to a play. You go to Trumbull High School, and there's a play, and there are 6 members of this building committee are there. That doesn't constitute a meeting for purposes of freedom of information. All right, even though you have a quorum of the committee is present in the same place. All right, so you're not, for that purpose, you're not meeting. You're not, everybody's sitting in the back of the room. And if you're all sitting up in the front and saying this is a meeting of the Community Facilities Building Committee, and we've invited Tom Arcari to come and give his pitch, that's not what we want to see, okay? But if Lori Hayes O'Brien and Dave Gallo want to sit up in the front, or Lori Hayes O'Brien and Mike Buswell are going to sit in the front, or whatever you have a couple of people there who are talking about it, whether you want it from one side of the aisle or both sides of the aisle, that's a decision that you all make. But no, it's not a meeting.
So at that informational meeting that we keep discussing, that we're hoping is going to happen sometime in September, and I know I talked to you about this, but we have to think about that timing soon, because we want that information to get out before absentee ballots and early voting starts, so people are informed while they're voting.
Well,
Okay.
absentee ballots, I think, go out earlier than early voting, but
Okay.
you can check with the registrar's office or with the town
Okay.
clerk's office and see when that's going to be. The town clerk has 45 days prior to the election, which falls sometime in, I guess, early October, September. Thank you.
When is it? October 19th? September 19th?
September 19th, to get the explanatory text
Okay.
up to the Secretary of the State's office. But hopefully we'll have that done long before that.
But at that public meeting, if all of us are there but scattered throughout, that's not an
That's fine.
issue?
No.
Okay, okay. Well, anybody else have questions specifically about referendum rules? So, I think I asked you this, but sometimes I think I ask you in my head and I don't actually ask you. But, so I'm thinking of like your group, Ron, the Commission of Aging and Aging. They're a Trumbull group. What can their role be? Where can they and not do?
Same issue. I think we had some discussion with the Commission on Aging, earlier, about forming some other advocacy group,
Separate.
all right, separate and apart from, and not under the auspices of the town.
So, when it says, you're basically saying town bodies can't spend funds to advocate, but when we're talking about like renderings and things like that. Like people have asked me, are we gonna have pictures and different things? We've kind of already spent that through committee. Those things can be
Well-
out in the public, right?
Well, first of all, yes, absolutely, they can be out in public. They're part of the public record.
Okay,
You have, they've been presented at meetings.
okay,
And if at some point people want to start putting pictures up that, posting the boards that the town has prepared and say this is a rendering of what
It looks
what's
like.
going to be there, I don't have a problem with that.
okay.
That's been paid for already. Ron?
I think I have two questions, one of which relative to the Council on Aging. What you're saying, from what I think I understand, is that we are to follow the same basic guidelines you gave to this group.
Exactly.
Okay. Do those same ground rules apply to all commissions throughout the town?
Yes.
So it's a town-wide employee type of thing? As a
Well, not
citi-
employees,
As a
yes.
citizen, you can
Yes.
express your opinion, but
As
not
you
as a
said,
group.
right.
Okay.
But if it would be unusual for the Planning and Zoning Commission, for instance, to take a position on the advocacy for or against the senior citizen community center. It would be unusual for the Board of Finance to take that kind of position. It would be unusual for the Land Acquisition Committee so yes, all the boards basically follow the same rules, but it's less likely that they're gonna have an interest in the outcome of the,
So then you're saying if, as a commission, we all follow the same guidelines as the citizens, we're free to do and say what we please?
yes,
I think that's fair.
okay.
The only other question, I kind of goes a little bit away from, but I know it was brought up, I think, at the town council meeting, and it's been brought up to me about any other approvals we need because the conceptual plans. I know you guys are going to be talking about that.
Mhm.
Did anybody else, I know it was brought up about whether we needed to go back to planning and zoning, but I don't know if anybody else had any other concerns. I know the town attorneys usually meet today, but you're going to meet on Friday, so we'll have more information about that, but,
We will have a discussion about it, yes.
okay, all right. Anybody else have anything for Dan? So my next question, kind of really already flying into the next agenda item, but do we get a break for a little bit? Like, what can we be doing as a committee other than if Tom needs us for any other additional information? Like, should we be meeting next month? Is there anything we should be doing?
I think you need to decide if you have an agenda item to call a meeting. I don't think you need to schedule meetings ahead of time at this point, but that's beyond my pay grade.
I know.
that's-
No, I'm just thinking,
No,
is
I'm
there's
just-
anything else we need to be,
No,
No. unless these approvals, different kind of approvals have to happen, then that would
And-
have to happen before.
but even then, if in fact we say, yeah, you ought to go for another 824, you don't have to bring the whole committee back in order to
true.
say we're going to go for an 824.
Okay, okay.
So, as I say, I think you do have a hiatus. You've got 10 years of,
So we get a month off.
you may get 2 months off.
All right. What other kind of questions? Anybody else
All the
have
way
any?
through Labor Day, after Labor Day. we'll
Okay,
be back.
we'll get the summer off, the summer off. Anybody else have anything? Rich?
It's not really for the attorney, but are the architects going to be doing any more work? Are they going to be doing any more renderings or things like that for these, in preparation for these public meetings? Or is the documentation we have now what we have
Um,
going forward for the,
My understanding from talking to Tom just briefly, we've kind of taken a little break, but is I think they're going to just, I don't want to say fancy them up, that's the wrong word, but probably put a little more detail. I know they talked about it, I believe it was at the town council meeting when people are asking about, the storage isn't in the picture. I think they were going to try to do more of that stuff in line with what their contract is now. So it's basically just fine tuning, and they won't. I think it was clear that night too, we're not making any changes to design, basically. This is with the one that's going forward. I feel like we have to call it something different than option 7, but we'll figure that out eventually. But that's the design, I think.
It's a proposal.
The proposal, I know, but everybody's like, the option 7 thing is funny. I think all they can really do is fine tune those and maybe add in more details of things that have already been discussed, not add anything different. My understanding is they were going to do that. I was going to talk to him kind of after this meeting to see if there's anything else we needed from him. And then our next really item for us too is really figuring out where and when to have this meeting. And the where is probably going to be the trickiest part. Initially, ideally, you'd love to have it in the senior center so people can really see what the senior center actually looks like. But it will be bigger than that. So September's a great time to have a meeting, except when you have to have it in a school and everybody knows how crazy that's going to get. So that may be tricky scheduling it. But I think we're all looking at September to do that, unless anybody feels any differently about that. Right? Other than that, I really wanted everybody to get a real clear picture of referendum rules and make sure we're not stepping out of the line on anything, since this is our first shot at it. And then if there's anything that you guys have questions for Tom, just send them through me. But I think we're all pretty clear on where we're headed right now until we get to November 4th, and then hopefully real work will begin. I get to say that, right? Can I say that? Okay. Just checking. And I appreciate you guys coming out. I did want to be able to thank you. I also know there was about 2 or 3 other virtual meetings, and I wasn't going to make them go through that, but I thought this was important information to have. And other than that, if anybody has anything else? Yes, Rich.
So we'll likely have to vote on one more invoice at some point
Yes.
for whatever work
And-
is done.
We did not get it, right, Cindy? We did not get an invoice.
Oh, I haven't seen one. I was off last week, but
I know, I was kind of hoping it would come in for this. We'll see what the timing of that is. If that is an only agenda item for our next meeting, we'll do it virtually and have it even quicker than this, I would imagine. But we might have some time with that. So at this point, I would say we're probably going to cancel August unless something changes.
Thank you.
Just one question for the lawyer. Mr. Shopik, how do you spell your last name?
How do I spell it? S-C-H-O-P-I-C-K.
S-C-H-O-P-P-I-C?
One P.
One P.
CK.
C-K, Pick. Thank you.
That was an easy one.
That was it?
That was the quickest one.
First name Dan, right?
Anything? Good? You good? All right, I think that's it then, guys. I'm going to ask someone to call for a vote for adjournment
I motion to adjourn.
at 7:23, our quickest meeting yet. Everybody good?
Second.
All right.
Second.
We all
Second on all, and we are all in agreement. Thank you for coming out, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lori Hazel.
Yes.
It was a great meeting.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. It was very nice. He was born. He was born.
Yes.
He's here.